So we all know that first impressions are always a crucial deal to forming any kind of connection, like a friendship or a relationship. All that first impressions are always very important to everyone and everything, and for everyone and everything. Unfortunately, not all of us have been lucky with being given good first impressions, and while they've been given a lot of poor first impressions from people and things. In today's story, I'm going to elaborate much more on a certain time in my life when I was given one of the worst first impressions by one of my now former instructional lab teachers, all the way back in my senior year of high school. Basically, first, before I get into that, if you don't know what instructional lab is, it's basically a study hall, except it's required because not only is it on your schedule, but it's really because you're getting credits for it, and because you're getting credits for it, you have to attend, you can't just skip, so it's basically a study hall that's required. But anyway, during my senior year, October 2022, I was in instructional lab, just doing my own thing, and at first I actually had a different teacher who I got along with pretty well, but in October I transitioned to the one right next to the room I used to be in, for reasons unknown or unremembered. I don't know why I switched, but basically what happened is that my new instructional lab teacher called me into his room, and instead of, reading me properly and whatnot, he didn't drag me in, but basically he had me go into his room and told me that we needed to talk, but the person who was there to talk to me was one of the staff members who worked at that school, who I have a really bad history with thanks to this. And he had me talk with him, and basically what happened is that the staff member was interrogating me for something I never even did, and the reason being because one of my now former friends fucking framed me for shit she knew damn well I never even did. What this staff member told me she framed me for, what he told me that she reported to him, is that he was apparently told by her that I had been harassing her even though I never did that. And I was telling the truth. But he wasn't convinced enough until I kept telling him that I never did any of that to her and I would never do that. And my fucking instructional lab teacher didn't do shit to, prove my innocence or make me feel, safe or any of that. So, yeah, basically he just had me talk with this dude and didn't even, he wasn't even nice to me. He was honestly just a fucking piece of shit. He didn't care that, he knew I was innocent as well, but he just didn't fucking care. And he let this dude interrogate me for shit I never even did, and he also knew damn well that the piece of shit bitch who framed me was bad all along, but never did anything to help me, get her in trouble for defaming me, ruining my reputation. And that's not the only thing. That's not the only reason on why he gave me a poor first impression. The things that happened after were, of course, sometime after I started to get to know him more, but eventually, continuing from this incident, he eventually had me attend a meeting full of random people who I didn't fucking know, and they were basically all saying how I was, like, how I shouldn't have quote-unquote harassed this now former friend of mine, even though I never harassed her. She fucking framed me. And of course I did everything to prove my innocence, and the only reason they believed me is because I somehow managed to convince them that I was actually innocent. And they knew I was innocent, but they just didn't fucking care, and really, all that just left me to, all of that just left me with severe trust issues. Well, really, that was when my trust issues were only starting to just worsen. And, there are a couple more things he did that were just poor first impressions, I would say. I eventually reported this now former friend of mine to this very, staff member who fucking interrogated me, and he... I know I'm talking about the staff member now, not my instructional lab teacher, but I'll get to him in another story. This staff member, of course, deliberately and directly lied to me on how it pains him to see me so upset because he wants to see me happy, and really, I don't know if I either fell for it or if I saw through his lies, but I'm pretty sure I saw through his lies, but still. But like, where my instructional lab teacher comes in this is that he made me, like, he forced me to talk with this dude even though I shouldn't have really had to do anything else because I already filed the complaint to the staff member and everything else should have been taken from there. But of course, the school I went to is retarded dog shit. And really, the last thing I remember this dude doing, my former instructional lab teacher, is that nearing the end of my senior year, so in 2023, I filed a complaint about one of the texts to the principal, and it was the very next day, I believe. He received a call from the principal. He told me to go down, and I asked him why I had to go down, or what was the reason. He didn't know, which is honestly just retarded, because, like, he should know. I mean, like, he should know, and the principal should have also told him. And basically, when I got back from the principal, who of course didn't do shit about this ed tech, about, penalizing him or even firing him after everything I wrote, my instructional lab teacher asked me if I was in trouble, and I told him no, and it was honestly just dumb of him to assume that I was in trouble just because I was called by the principal, or just because he received a call from the principal and I had to go down. And yeah, he's just not fucking good at his job. And to make matters even worse, I'm not even shitting you, the thrift store I work at, like, about 2 years later, after graduating high school, I was receiving donations from one of the customers, and one of the customers turned out to be that very dude, and he recognized me via memory, and he never apologized about what he put me through and what I had to go through, especially because of this now former friend of mine who is just a total bitch. So, yeah. I know this is just one big story, but that's really the most I have to say about poor first impressions that I've received, so I hope you all relate, and I hope you all have a great day.